Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. Hope everybody had a good weekend. My weekend was, wait a minute, I don't know. Do I need to turn this mic up? Can you guys even hear me with all these crickets in the background? Yeah, it hasn't gotten any better. It's just roaring. It's just roaring. It's terrible. My weekend was taken up with family stuff. Pretty much all day Saturday, I was up at my sister's house in Wildwood, Missouri. It's the outer part of St. Louis County. And we had another Thanksgiving celebration there with all the siblings. So my two brothers and sister were there, and much of their families. And JR and Isaac were there. Of course, Sue was there. And then on Sunday, Sue has a aunt that turned 80, and so we went to her surprise birthday party on Sunday in Stony Hill, Missouri, and had a good time there too. I know most of her relatives that way because Gary, her cousin, and I were best friends growing up, and I was always spending time out there at their farm, and all those folks live out in that general area, out in Stony Hill and New Haven and Herman. So we spent a lot of time out there during our youth, and anyway, so it's kind of like old home week for that too. So it was kind of fun. It's turned off really cold here. Seems like it's either super hot or super cold. It doesn't seem like there's much in between. But here's a little bit of evidence that what I'm telling you is true. Well, my friends, we did get a little bit of rain Saturday. It's spitting a tiny bit of snow right now, just little tiny amounts. Cold, cold, cold out here. Take a look at the old water wheel. Can you believe it? It's still turning. You know, we got enough rain Saturday that it was actually turning pretty fast, but you can see there now that it's getting out of balance because of the ice. And you can see there it's turning kind of fast right there, but then it's going to slow down again. The ice is making it out of balance. And that's going to eventually freeze it solid. And that's okay. It doesn't hurt a thing. There's nothing mechanical. There's no belts to wear out. There's nothing that's going to be a problem if it does, you know. It just is what it is, as I say. But it is chilly out here. There is some snow falling. I don't know if you can see it at all, but it's just, tiny flakes, and they're few and far between, I guess. It's just about to stop. It's really wanting to stop. But it gets past that center mark, and then it goes. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, well, stuff happens. The old cypress trees have lost their leaves. It's kind of weird. They don't look like leaves. They kind of look like needles, but they're leaves. This one here has lost its stuff too. I see bagworms on there. Those little, tiny little bagworms, not the tent worms. There's lots of them on there. We're gonna have to do something about that. There's some. Yeah, we're going to do something about that. Oh, well, I'm going to go in and get ready for the vlog. And so I did. Yeah, but it is kind of pretty to see the ice on there. It does make a neat little pattern, but it does get off, out of balance when it does that too. Let's see. We got 73 viewers right now. Looks like a low attendance for today, but I'm glad you're here. Let's see. This is another little short video clip I have, kind of evidence of the cold and, like our North Pole climate that we have here. Couldn't get the camera on quick enough. But I don't know if you can hear that little chirp, chirp, chirp in the background. That was a pileated woodpecker just flew through here. I thought I'd tell you the sad story of the wood furnace situation. You can see that pile that was there. That was, you know, pretty far up that wall, and it was pretty wide at the beginning of the year. And we've had several other piles right here. This is what's left of the most recent pile of wood. We still got that real green stuff over there. And don't worry, I mean, if I need to burn that, I'll burn it. It's not a problem. But I filled this up at 5:30 this morning. It is now not quite 11 o'clock yet. And I had to fill it up again, as you can see, because it is really cold. Whoops, got a log, something sticking in the way there. I got her shut. Boy, it's a little bit chilly, and you can really see the snow falling now. My goodness. Yeah, winter wonderland. I don't mind the snow too much. In fact, I don't mind cutting wood in the snow. Listen to the crows. Can you hear them? Whole flock of them flew through there. I bet they were chasing an owl. Well, here's what it looks like 30 minutes later. There's a whole lot of snow going on out there. Just 30 minutes. For the small flakes that it's coming down, it's covering the ground pretty quickly. Yeah, and it's the temperature. Well, let me look and see. Yeah, it's still 29. It's whatever the temperatures, I say, I don't know, 26 or below that. I'm burning a cord of wood about every 3 days. Right now, probably every 4 days, burning a cord of wood right now. Yeah, it's, and people think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. I know how much a cord of wood is, and trust me, I'm burning that much. It's crazy. Let's see. But my thing I'm excited about is this next little video clip. And some of you may not get too excited over this, but it's what makes me happy. Oh, my friends, it was a tough battle. But I have that thing sitting down in there. See how the wood lines up with that slot? That's the way it's supposed to be. According to this, it lines up the same way. Is it perfect? No, there's some little minor things, but I think I can do a little touch-up filler here and there and stuff that nobody will ever notice. It's pretty good, and the bolt works, so, you know, it's really good. I just tickled with it. Fits really solid, you know, just goes right in there. So, let me just take it out and give you the proof. So you can see that that's what she looks like on the inside there. Got her all fixed up. Of course, you know, I don't have the hole cut yet for the clip. The clip is going to be probably the hardest thing. I really think so. I honestly think that's going to be the hardest. But we'll get it done one way or the other. And, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I think I can make it work. So you can see here that the screws, don't have to do a lot of fiddling with them. They just go right in. So I'm pretty happy with it. You can't hardly beat it. I like it. Now I can get on to the fun part. That's carving the actual stock. And I don't know though, I may have to fit this up before I can carve it. I may have to fit up this clip. I just don't know. I'll have to think on that. But I'm real happy with it. The you know, the safety works too. Everything works. Tickled the way the bolt works. It doesn't hit nothing. Yeah, I'm just couldn't be more excited. Well, this afternoon, that's my plan, is to do the actual carving now, to round the stock over and make it look nice. It's a pretty highly figured piece of walnut. It doesn't show up as well right there. But I'm pretty sure that once we get finish on it and everything, it's going to be impressive, I think. Or at least I think it is. Hope it is. The cutting out that hole for the clip is going to be tedious, to say the least. I mean, like, that's got to be exactly right. You get that off a little bit, and when you work the bolt, it ain't going to work. It's not going to feed the shell up into the gun. So a little bit nervous about that part, but assuming I can pull that off, then it's going to be a really nice gun stock and everything. I don't know. I just doing it just because I can. There's no real need to have done this. I just like piddling with that kind of thing. It's always kind of a challenge to me to see if I can make something like that. And the trigger guard's the other thing that the trigger guard was molded into that plastic stock. It's just a plastic trigger guard. So I'm giving that some thought as to how I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to make a metal trigger guard, and I don't know if I'll make it. The other thing I was thinking about doing is where that one, and by the way, those bolts that you saw me using there, those are not the actual bolts that will go in the gun. Those screws, those were just extra screws I had laying around that work good for the fit up. But the actual screws are they will be sunk into the wood under, they're a cap screw, and they're anyway, they go down inside the wood. You can't really see the screws. But I'm thinking about making that trigger guard extend out to that one screw there, and then maybe putting a black screw in there that would actually hold the trigger guard, hold the barrel, and, I don't know. I'm just kicking all that around on how I'm going to do that. I want it to look good, and I want it to be, real functional and easy to use and all that kind of thing. So I got to give it some thought, but at least now I've gotten past that fit up part. That I had 80% of the fit up done, I would say, by this morning. So this morning, then I started working on it at about 7:15 and worked on it till about 6:30 or so. 10:30 or so, and so I had about 3 hours in it today, and all of that was just for the last 20% of the fit up to get it to fit pretty well perfect. It is way harder than you might think. It has a lot in common with fitting the neck up to a guitar. You got to get that neck in the angle, and it's got to have an angle this way, it's got to have the angle this way, it's got to have the angle this way. So there's 3 different angles that you got to have on that neck of a guitar to fit up. Well, it's very similar to this. As you're trying to fit that barrel to that stock, I take the carbon paper and I put it in there and I rub the barrel around in there, and then I see where the high spots are and I carve those high spots away, and I keep doing that until I get it to fit just perfect. And I wouldn't call this a perfect fit, but I would call it I'm about 90% happy with it. There's about 10% of it I wish I could kind of do over again, but it is what it is, and I only have that one piece of wood. Well, I've got more wood. I could do it over if I had to, but I don't really want to. It's a lot of work just to get it to where I've got it. Let's go into the comments and see you all is here. David Tharp says, howdy, Jerry and everyone. Joe Cool USA, wishing everyone pleasant afternoon. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon. Ronald Todd, good afternoon from the West Banks in New Jersey. Brian Byler says, happy Monday, everybody. Rod Wentler, big howdy. Gino Hitch says, hi, Jerry and friends. Hope everyone had a great weekend. It got a little snow, but it went away. Good luck with the firewood. Yeah, I'm going to have to get out there and get some more cut. There's a lot of down trees. That's the good news, is there's tons of trees that are blow down type trees. Probably more than I could use this winter for sure. There's a bunch of them. So anyway, Dottie says she's going to have a hall pass. She's checking her blood. Wow. Well, God bless you. Hope that all goes really well. And she's praying for us. Kim Z from Arizona. Ronald Todd praying for Dottie's pain relief. Yep. Michael 2X says, hey, Rosa Meister. Bill Mumbo says, hi, you folks. Empress John says, Jerry, that water wheel is a beautiful piece of your work. I know you have to be really proud of it. Yeah, I'm real happy with it, the way it turned out. It actually exceeded what I was expecting when I started. It turned out nicer than I had envisioned, really. That's the other thing is, I've got that one real nice picture of it that I'm real happy with, and I think I'm going to try to get a jigsaw puzzle made. I just haven't had time to sit down and investigate that. I looked at it a little bit, and it looked like it was going to be pretty darn expensive. I'm going to try to find some alternative where I can get it mass produced, and then maybe make it available on the website to sell it, or if people are interested, maybe get 100 of them made, and just sell off 100 of them or whatever. Probably end up giving half of those away to my family. Let's see. Garland Edmondson says it's the 20s here in Michigan and at least 6 inches of snow. Yeah, well, it's in the 20s here too. We don't have the 6 inches yet, but I'm looking out there now, and I wouldn't even say we have an inch yet. We probably have a half inch, something like that. But it's pretty chilly. For where we are in the country, in southern Missouri, you know what I'm saying? It's like we live somehow or another. There's like a direct path to the Arctic right from here. It's just nuts. It seems like it's that way every year. You would know I'd picked the biggest, hardest to heat house on the planet and picked the coldest spot in Missouri. Well, I mean, I know it's not the coldest because you go up north, it's a lot colder, but it's pretty chilly for this area of Missouri. It's crazy. Kim Z, 70s in Arizona today. Yeah, go ahead and rub that in. Just go ahead and do that. Rod Wintler, thumbs up. GPO Marine Shop says, praised your craftsmanship on mandolins and other nice things. Well, thank you. Joe Everett says, put your signature rose on the stock. Yeah, I think what I'm going to try to do, and I don't know, this is all talk right now. It may end up being something completely different. But right now I'm thinking I'm going to put the rose on there somewhere. And I also think I may carve a deer's head, a buck head, as in like one of those bucks right there would be a pretty one, I don't know. But I've got plenty to choose from. But I will probably try to draw one of those and then maybe scan it into the computer and print it out and then carve that into the stock someplace. So I'm thinking about doing that. And then I'm really thinking seriously about trying to do checkering. I'm also on the fence about whether I want to put a cheek plate on it. You know how sometimes they have a cheek plate that comes out from the stock. And I may carve that in there too. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Just it's all in the air. And so those are all just options right now. Bruce Ducker, you should finish the stock with about 10 coats of tung oil. I did that to my 22 Marlin, and you could use the stock as a bat without harm to the finish. Yeah, I do plan to put a real nice finish on it. I'm not so sure about tung oil. I'm just not all that familiar with tung oil. I may use the True Oil varnish. Anyway, we'll do something. Rubbish Guitar Bloke says, hello from the UK. Bill Mumbo, okay, they're talking back and forth. Let's see. Paul Lanier, I will buy a water wheel house puzzle. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to get that done. I don't know for sure because it's a cost thing. If I can find a way that I can sell it for, $20 or under, because I don't think it's going to be worth much more than that, and I'm not even sure what puzzles sell for. You can probably buy them for $5 at the five and dime, I just don't know what they sell for, but I can't see, I probably can't get it done and sell it for $5. I just don't think so. I think I'd lose money. You know what I mean? So if I can find something where I can sell it for $20 or under, I may do it. But if I can't get it, for that kind of money or less, then I don't see doing it too much. Michael 2X, I live in Georgia, but I am still traumatized by the winter of 1978 at Fort Leonard Wood for my basic training. Yeah, in the 70s, that's you are right. Like when I told you the other day that our first house, we lived on that steep hill S curve with cedar trees on both sides, so the road never got any sunlight. It was solid ice for months at a time. And then the 70s, 76, 77, 78, maybe even 80, right, up in that time frame. That was some of the worst winters we ever had in this Missouri area. It was bad, man. Like really bad. As I said, when I lived there, there was 30 days in a row, a full calendar month that I had to put chains on to get out. And it sucked canal water big time. And I pretty much had to go out every day, Rubbish guitar blog. Okay, let's see. Wade Hampton says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. I am 7 weeks past my total knee replacement, and I'm feeling pretty good, finally. It was pretty rough for the first couple of weeks, but we are over the worst. Well, that's great to hear. I'm proud for you there. That's wonderful, because those kinds of things, they've got it down pretty good. They know what they're doing, but they seem like they either go really well or not so well, and I'm hoping yours goes really well. Michael 2X, I'm excited about seeing the inlay process on the stock. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'll do inlay, but carving I probably will do, but I'm not ruling out inlay either. That has crossed my mind to inlay, something. I doubt I would do mother of pearl. I think that's a little too gaudy looking, but I might inlay some other, like marquetry type other wood or something. I don't know. I'm kicking it around. All of those things are on the table. GPO Marine Shop, maybe pretty cool as a Grock about you, but your name and hear the nice things said about you in front live on the vlog. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked myself on Grock, to be honest with you. I was trying to show some of my, some of Sue's relatives about Grock. Well, actually mine too. I talked about it at both of those parties over the weekend. And the guy, the one fella, his name's Dennis Hawney. That's one of Sue's cousins. Anyway, he is not even on the internet at all. And he was super surprised that Grock had information. It didn't really have it about him specifically, but had it about the Hawney family and that they were a prominent family in that general area of Missouri. And it was pretty impressive. They were surprised that it could find all that information, especially since they're not even on the internet. You know what I mean? They don't even have Wi-Fi access at their house. So there you go. Paul Lanier says, we'll pay $25 cash and 3 brown glass arrowheads. Yeah, I still have your brown glass arrowhead up there in my shop or in my office. Bill Mumbo Rubbish says, there's no question marks there. I don't know why I'm reading them. I just start reading them and then I get confused. Wade Hampton says, Jerry, I installed Grock on my phone and it changed my world. I needed a scope riser for a rifle, and Grock told me exactly what I needed and where to buy it. I am impressed. That's exactly what I'm telling you. If you're not putting Grock on your phone, I think you are missing out. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I got nothing in it. I don't make any money from it. There's no reason for me to push it. I'm just impressed as heck how it's helped me so far. I've done so many things, and when I get stuck, I just go, Grock, here's the problem. What do I do about this? And it usually comes up with a decent answer. There's been a couple times where it's like, but it didn't hurt anything, it didn't cost anything, and at least I tried, Let's see. Mike Saba says, Jerry, have you heard about a method they use to seat the barrel using fiberglass? Yeah, I have. Glass bedding and all that. I'm really not interested in doing anything fancy, honestly. All I really want is the barrel to float, and the barrel is floating. So it's like, in other words, they take like a dollar bill and slide it down the barrel, and it'll go all the way down the barrel between the stock, so it's not touching the stock anywhere. For me, that's all I need. I don't see any reason to need any more than that, because the truth is, and I know it's going to sound like I'm bragging, but I can take that gun at 100 yards and pretty much hit the same hole. You know what I mean? Like shoot it and then shoot it again and hit the same hole. So how much more accurate do I need than that? So I don't plan to do anything more than I'm doing right now. But I've heard about all that, and if I was in the match competition, I'd probably be doing all of that stuff, but I'm not. Let's see. Marine Shop says, Grock says nice things and knew about your hands. Well, isn't that cool? That's a little scary. Now you're getting scary. Let's see. Wayne Blitz. Good afternoon, Jerry. Hope all's well with everyone and keep it safe. Tom Armstrong on rechargeable metal detectors. How do they expect you to change the batteries when they go bad? The rechargeable ones I've seen are sealed. I think there's a method to do it. I think there is. My good ones are rechargeables, and I've not had any trouble with them so far, but, someday there may be a problem, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it. You may have to take it apart. You could always ask Grock. I'm pretty sure it could tell you how to do it. Let's see. Ronald Todd. Jerry, did you see Itchy Boots this weekend? Yes, I did, but now I can't remember what it was. She's going into a real rural area. I remember she lost track of the road there for a while. I can't remember much more about it than that. I was kind of busy all weekend and just, can't remember that much about what all happened. Michael 2X, I will buy a water wheel house puzzle. Cool. Tom Armstrong, would be interesting to see what Grock has to say about passing kidney stones. Yeah, that's an idea too. Like I said, for the average size stone, I'm pretty sure I've got that figured out. My technique, I'm calling it the Rosa maneuver. I figured might as well name it after myself. I came up with it, right? But anyway, the Rosa maneuver, you just put your arms out like this, put your head down on the couch while you're standing on your knees and you got your back parallel with the ground. All of my kidney stones that I've had and done that to have passed except one. And that last one I had, that was a big one. And it didn't pass. And, I finally ended up having to get different medicines and things to get that one to pass. But it finally did pass. But honestly, that maneuver, it usually gets rid of them in less than a minute. I mean, it's amazing. So take it for what it's worth. So if you are suffering from kidney stones, this is the first time you've heard of that, go out and look at my video. You just type in RSW kidney stones and you'll find the video. Richard Herbranson, how is Grock on medical advice and how is it different than AI? Well, it is AI. I mean, that's what it is. But Grock's just one of the smartest AIs. It claims to be the world's smartest AI. I can't argue that because it seems like it is. But I would say it's very good on medical advice. I have nothing in this, and I'm not making any claims for Grock. I'm just telling you what I saw. And what I saw was they made a claim that they had a panel of doctors. They asked the doctors questions, and the doctors made a certain percentage and got a pretty high percentage right, but Grock got them all right. So, could be that they had loaded questions that Grock knew. I don't know. I'm just saying that Grock's pretty good on medical, I think. I think it's pretty good on everything. You can ask about your dishwasher or you can ask it about your kidneys, and I'm pretty sure it knows pretty much everything. Like I think I told you already, Sue had dug up this clay, raw clay out of the ground, and she was purifying it, and she dug up two different kinds. She dug up some from JR's new house that he's building, and she dug up some out of the cave that we found on the farm, because that dirt in there is real sticky like, and it just feels like molding clay already. So anyway, she took that out, and she tried firing it, and the problem was that it worked pretty good, but when you fire it, it often would crack. So she was looking for an additive, and she had searched on her own out on YouTube, and the additive seemed to be diatomaceous earth that people were recommending. Put diatomaceous earth in there. So she was trying to figure out what percentage would she put in there with her clay she dug out of the cave. So I heard her asking me that, and so I pulled out my phone and I said, Grock, we've got some raw clay that we dug out of the ground. Sue, I just said, we want to know how much diatomaceous earth should we add to 4 pounds of raw clay to make it more pliable and to make it fire better. Grock comes back and says, that's the wrong additive. I would not add diatomaceous earth. I would add, the other clay. It's on the tip of my tongue. The pond sealer clay, bentonite clay. It says you should add bentonite clay, and you should add 3 ounces to 4 pounds, is what it says. I went, there you go. And she did it, and it seems to be working so far. So I don't know. I'm just telling you, it seems to know everything. Do what you want. You don't have to use it. I get nothing out of it one way or the other. I'm just trying to make your life easier for you by putting this on your phone because it's free. It takes about 1 minute to put it on your phone, and you don't have to know anything. Like most apps, you got to know something. You got to know how to do this or do that. You don't have to know how to do anything. All you do, there's a prompt. The prompt says, ask me anything. Okay? Grock, how do you do XYZ? That's all you got to know. It's just how to ask a question. As long as you can ask a question, it works. That's all you got to know. There's nothing else to it. It is that simple. And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of it. It's that simple. Let's see. Losing my place here. Let me find it again. Meant to say, Grock said you retired because of your hand arthritis. Well, that's cool. It's pretty amazing that it knows stuff like that. I mean, I was pretty impressed when I looked up, Dennis Haney there because I knew he wasn't even on the internet, Now, it didn't find him, just so you understand. It didn't give me any specific information about him. It said he must be a private individual that's not on social media or something like that. He says, and he's not. But the Haney family name is prominent in that area of Stony Hill, and it just went on, and it had a whole page of stuff. So they were pretty impressed. Let's see. I'm interested to buy 2 jigsaw puzzles. Well, that's nice to hear. So I guess I'm going to get on that this afternoon, see if I can't make a deal. In fact, I think I'm going to ask Grock, where can I make the best deal on making a jigsaw puzzle? I'll have to think of how I want to word it, but I'll ask Grock that question, and maybe it'll give me a good company that would give me a good deal. We'll see. You'll know tomorrow. 61212, that's some good fertilizer. Says, Jerry, have you tried Monell mandolin strings? Yes, I have. They were recommended, I think Bill Monroe was the sponsor of those at one time. They were his signature model strings at one time. I don't know if they still are or not, but I'll be honest with you. I like them. I think they're good while they're new, but they go dead quickly for me. Different metals work for different people. The metal that I have found that works for the most people, most often for the longest period of time, in my opinion, is just plain phosphor, or not. They're not plain, but phosphor bronze strings, not the coated strings, just phosphor bronze strings. In my opinion, those have the best sound on day one, and they last pretty long. They don't last as long as coated strings, but in my opinion, it's just my opinion, you understand. In my opinion, coated strings don't sound as good on day one as phosphor bronze strings do on day one. But somewhere in the middle there, they cross over, and then the coated strings last longer and sound about as good, for a longer period of time. But in my opinion, if you're into playing shows and stuff and you really want to have your best sound, in my opinion, put on your phosphor bronze strings and go play your show, and they'll last a month, and then change them again, that kind of thing. So there you go. Empress John, I just asked Grock to give me a background check on Bob. No info. Yeah. That's almost something that would be kind of fun to do. I might put that name in and see if it gives me his arrest record. Yes, 61212 says Grock is Elon Musk's AI. Yes, I know that. Definitely. Elon, and they claim it's the best. I can't argue with their claim because I used ChatGPT, and I thought it was pretty good, but I think Grock just seems easy and just seems really smart. So I'm going with Grock for right now anyway. Wade Hampton, Jerry, I don't think my last post made it to you. I'm 7 weeks past my total. Yeah, I read that one already. I read it once, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yep. Well, I'm glad for you, and really happy, very happy for you. I hope it continues to improve and get better. Like I think I said when I read it was that often those things go either really, really well or they don't go so well. And sounds like yours is going well, and that'd be great. I hope it continues that way. Bill Mumbo, Wade, I've seen your post 3 times now. Yeah, and I agree. I've seen it 3 times now too. Wade Hampton, Bill Mumbo. Now I'm embarrassed. Oh, well, you don't have to be embarrassed. It's no problem. It's not a problem. But, there are times when I don't see posts that people put out there. And it could just be my fault, but I think there's a difference because you guys are using the native Google thing, YouTube thing, whatever. I'm not. I'm using this interface that brings that stuff over into this interface. Well, sometimes it doesn't seem to bring everything, It's just the nature of software. You know how it is. Well, anyway, I think that's everything I got for today, guys. So I think my marching orders for this afternoon are to check out a puzzle. So I'm going to write that down because, I just can't remember things and keep it straight anymore. I'm going to check on Bob just to see if it has information about him, like what a scumbag he was. and I won't tell you his last name, that it'll just be Bob, but I know his last name. And I'll also carve on that gun stock if I get a chance, and maybe get that going. In fact, I don't think that the carving on it, honestly, I don't think that's going to take me as long as fitting the barrel to the stock. That was very hard to do. But I think the carving is actually easy. I don't think that's going to be hard at all. So that's everything I know for now. Let me look and see. Look, there may be one more comment. Richards Herbranson says, maybe we should ask Grock for some good jokes to compete with David Thorpe. I bet it would have some good jokes. It's one of those AIs that you can pretty much ask it for anything. You can ask it, create a picture of a bluebird sitting on a water fountain. And I guarantee you it'll create a picture for you with a bluebird sitting on a water fountain. I mean, you can ask it for anything. Pretty much anything. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. There are some limitations. I don't think it can create, I think Grock, or at least in the free version, it may do it in the paid version, I don't think in the free version it can create a video. I think it can just create still photos and things like that. But I don't really need it to create videos. My videos are tough enough as it is. We will see you tomorrow with something else. Thank you for being here.